Hi, my name is Miss Christy. I am a teaching artist in the PACE program, an art integration program of the Acadiana Center for the Arts in the Lafayette Parish school system in Lafayette, Louisiana. Today we are going to be learning about Franz Marc and his blue horse. The first thing we're going to need to start our project are crayons and 2 white sheets of paper. You can use regular copy paper, construction paper, or even the inside of a cereal box. So the first thing I need you to do is find your paper. If you ever need to press pause in this video, press pause, work as long as you need to, and then press play, and we'll get back to work. So the first thing I need you to do with your first white piece of paper is fold it in half. So I have here, and I'm going to fold it in half. But when you do that, try to match up your corners. If you match up your corners, you can see that it might fold straight. If it doesn't fold straight, it's okay. It's still going to work. Anytime that you're working on this and you make a mistake, please remember that we can always fix any mistakes that you make. We're going to be covering this entire project, coloring and filling it with beautiful colors. So whatever mistakes you make, pause and press play and get back to work, and we will fix it. I'll go over some of those. So you can see that I folded my paper in 2. So I folded it in half, and then I folded it in half again. So that makes like a small little booklet. So when you finished folding it, I want you to open it up and look at it. You'll see that there's 4 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to help me guide you through the entire project. Right here, you can see the middle fold that goes side to side. Does anybody know what that's called when a line goes from side to side? If you said horizontal, then you're right. And the line that goes up and down, does anybody know what that's called? When a line is from up the top and down to the bottom. Does anybody know? If you said vertical line, you're right. So this fold line is vertical and this fold line is horizontal. I already have one up here. And you can see that it's already folded and it has these lines so that I can help you put the marks where we're going to go. So the first crayon that you're going to need, if you look over here in the painting, behind the horse is a background with hills. Where do you think this horse is from? Well, wherever it is, it's beautiful and the hills are covered in colors. Maybe those are flowers. So we're going to start up here at the top with a blue crayon. I would suggest that you use a light blue because we're going to be coloring this horse a darker blue. So I'm going to start with a regular colored blue and indigo because that's my favorite color. So up here, you'll see this is the top of the paper. I want you to find with your finger the right corner at the top. We're going to be doing this a lot where I ask you to trace your finger down just a little bit and put a little dot. Can you do that? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to come to the middle line that we made when we folded it, and you're going to put a dot. You're going to run your finger to the middle of that part, and you're going to put another dot. So this dot isn't in the center, it's above the center. The third dot that we're going to put is over here on the left side. So again, use your finger to find the top left corner and follow it down almost to the middle line, but not quite. So then you're going to put a dot. So now we have 3 dots. I bet you know what we're going to do next. We're going to draw curved lines for the hill. So you're going to make a nice curved line. You see that? Go ahead and try. Then you're going to make another curved line going down to that second dot that we made. So you can see that we're creating our background, and then we're going to make our horse next. So you can see in Franz Marc's painting that there's a bit of blue here and a little bit of green and yellow. So I'm going to grab my green and yellow and hold it in my hand. And I'm going to color a little bit of blue. So you go ahead and try this. Trace your line. Just like that. Underneath that, you're going to just put a little bit of green. Just a little bit. And then a little bit of yellow. I'm using a green yellow, a light yellow. So the next part over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to trace that line a little bit by coloring it just a little bit. And then we're going to follow it with some green. So you can see our hills are already starting to take shape. So behind this horse, let's count these hills. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe even 5 on the right side of the painting. On the left side, there's 1, and then there's this beautiful yellow color behind him. Down here, there's a little red, and down here, he's standing in what might be grass, because it's green. So the next hill that we're going to do is not what I'm calling the second hill. You're going to find this color, it looks like he used maybe a little bit of a purple. So you're going to find a purple, and I'm just going to color that in just a little bit. I love to blend colors, so if you want to blend some colors together, I might put a little bit of red in this just to warm it up a little bit. All right, so this hill is this one here, and then there's that golden yellow. So I'm going to find a yellow, and I'm going to color that in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this yellow to draw the red hill. I know you're like, what? But we're going to use this yellow just like here. So right in the middle where that crease is, you remember we folded it in half? We're going to start right there. And we're going to put a dot. And then we're going to put another dot over here. Just right here in that middle. So right on both sides of this middle folded line. And now we're going to draw this shape. So I want you to go up just a little bit, and then down, and then back up. Can you see that? Yellow's kind of hard to see until you fill it in. So everything that's above this wavy line, we're going to color in yellow. I'm going to trace it with a little bit of red just so you can see it. Did you get it? So what we did was we started on the right, we made a little hill, we went down, and then we went back up and finished at the other side. So now I'm going to fill in that yellow. And you can use whatever colors you want. If you choose to use something different, remember that your horse is going to be one color and your hills are going to be something else. So you don't have to make a blue horse. You can make any color horse you want. Just remember, he's going to have to be able to show. So you don't want to make your background all blue. I'm going to fill in the yellow up here above the purple hill. All right. Now we're going to do the red hills. So find your red crayon. And we're going to color this one in, but then we're also going to draw this one in. So we're going to trace our finger down past where we were before, and then go just a little bit further. Can you see that? If you want to, you can start at the bottom and trace your finger up about halfway. That's where we're going to make our second red hill. So you can put a dot there. The other side, on the left, we're going to put another dot. This hill goes behind his feet, but we're going to go ahead and go across the paper and put a little red dot, just so that you know where to go. With this red hill, you're going to go up and then down. It's a steep hill. Can you imagine riding a bike down that hill? So now you can color in those red hills. And if you look closely at Franz Marc's painting, you can see that the top of the hill is a little bit darker than the bottom of the hill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color a little bit darker up here. And then I'm going to color light down here. So I have a maroon here. I don't know if everyone has all of the colors available to them, so use whatever colors you have. You can even use pens if you want to, or pencils, and make this a pencil drawing. But whatever you do, you're going to be shading. So I'm using a little bit darker of a red for this hill. All right. Now, before we go any further, we're going to do this plant. Now, that plant seems to be growing out of something that looks like red soil. So we're going to draw that in first since we already have our red crayon. So at the bottom of your paper, you're going to find the corner with your finger and trace up just a little bit. And that's where you're going to put your dot. Next, you're going to find that same right corner and you're going to trace your finger, but don't go all the way to the middle, almost to the middle. And that shape looks like this. So you're going to go a horizontal line across and then a little bit of a wave at the end. The next part is we're going to draw in the plant. So you'll need a green. And this plant appears to have how many leaves? 1, 2, 3. So we're going to draw that in. The first leaf we're going to draw is the one that goes behind the horse's foot. So we're going to start at the bottom of the page, just a little bit towards the inside in the middle of that section. And we're going to draw almost like a banana shape. And then color that in. And then there's a tall standing one. Color that in. And remember, if you need some time, to just press pause and finish coloring, and then start it back up and we'll keep going. Then we're going to draw this last leaf, but it looks like it's bent over a little bit. So we're going to start in the same place we were before. We're going to go to the right, and then it's going to bend. See that line? So now I'm going to go back, and there's my leaf. Color that in. And I have some other greens to darken it up a little bit. Okay, and then you can fill in your red. So this is actually the standard red. It's really bright. Does anybody know what kind of color red is? It's a warm color, and it's also a primary color. So there are 3 warm colors. Does anybody know what they are? If you said red, orange, and yellow, you're right. There are also 3 primary colors. Can you tell me what those are? If you said red, yellow, and blue, you're right. That's correct. Okay, so we're going to finish this part of the hill behind the leaves. Find the same red that you were coloring with before, and you're just going to fill that in. I'm using maroon. So while you're coloring, I can tell you some facts about Mr. Marc, the one that painted this beautiful horse. He lived over 100 years ago, and he lived in Germany. All right, go ahead and stop where the leaves are. And remember, you can blend the colors. I think I might add a little bit of black to kind of darken this hill a little bit. And this one too. Just a little bit. Okay. So the other area that's down here, there's a little bit of red, but then there's a lot of yellow. So we're going to go ahead and fill in that little bit of red and that little bit of yellow. Or a lot of yellow. Again, you can do these any colors that you want. I'm using warm colors on this side. I have a little red line here, and I'm just going to color in just a little bit. I also have this green yellow. Okay. So remember, our horse is going to be right here. And cut. So the next color we're going to work with, we have a green already, but I want you to find a black. If you don't have black, you can use a dark red over the green. You can use a dark blue in its place, but black will give it that deep shadow color that you want in the plant. So I want you to go ahead and use that black crayon over your green plant and darken it. You can see in his painting that the leaf is a very beautiful dark green. So go ahead and color that in. I used black here on those hills. I think I might also use a little bit up here. And I still have my green. So I'm going to continue to color the hills in the back with some green. You can see here behind the horse, there's a lot of green. I'm going to go over this hill. green. A lot of this will be covered up by the horse, but behind him you can see the landscape. You can see where that horse gets to run and play. So the other part that is green is down here where he's standing. So we're going to fill this area in with green. And you can use any kind of green. This is just standard green. I also have tropical rainforest green, which has a little bit of blue in it. I have forest green, which is a darker green. I use a little bit of that. Blend your colors. Don't feel like you just have to use one crayon. The more colors you use, the more variety you're going to have, the better it's going to look. So I've got that forest green. I really like that. I'm going to mix it a little bit with the regular green. And you're going to color all the way to that red shape. Just fill in that whole bottom section with green. I color pretty fast, so when I'm done, I'm going to tell you a few more things about Franz Marc. I told you that he lived over 100 years ago. He also saw animals as being more pure than people. He saw animals as being perfect. And for him, they symbolized the perfection in nature and how everything that's around us in nature is beautiful and honest. And he also looked at colors as being symbolic. Do you know what symbolic means? Or what a symbol is? You might have heard of symbols from going down the road and you see a octagonal stop sign. That's a symbol that tells you to stop. So that's something that we identify with. There's other symbols that he saw, like blue, he saw as being cool and calm, and he saw red and orange and yellow, those warm colors, as being more feisty and fiery and aggressive. So when he used those colors in his painting, he was thinking about that. He was thinking about how colors make us feel when we look at them. So you've probably almost finished or are finished coloring in your green. And when you're done, you can touch up any other areas that you might want to add some color to. I think I'm going to put a little bit of black up here in this purple. You can see in his painting that this purple has a lot of dark, like shadows in it. So I'm going to draw a little bit in to look like his painting. And remember, this is going to be behind the horse. Does anybody know what this is called? Yes, it's hills, but this is the horse's background. And when you're making a picture, this is the background, and the horse is in the foreground. Can everybody say foreground? Very good, foreground. So we're almost done. I'm going to put those finishing touches. I want you to look at the sky. Is that sky blue? No, it's red. I wonder if maybe he was trying to draw in or paint in a sunset or a sunrise in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and make this sky red, but you can make it any color that you want. There's also some funny little shapes up here above this blue hill. I'm going to use my black crayon first to darken that part of the hill. And then I'm going to use one of my lighter blues to draw that in. So that's behind the horse. And maybe it's the sunrise There's a little bit of yellow. Just going to make that, pretend like that's the sun. I'm going to give that a little bit more blue. And then that red sky, it's so beautiful. So I'm going to put a little bit of red violet, which is considered a cool red because it has blue in it. And then I'm going to use a primary red. Take your time. Pause the video if you need to. I like to color side to side, but you don't have to. You can color up and down if you want. Diagonal. So when we draw our horse, we're going to be talking about lines and shapes. Everything around us is shapes. My head is a shape. The horse's head is a shape. His body is a shape. His legs. What shape do you think his legs are? Maybe a long rectangle? Maybe so. So we're going to use lines and shapes to create our horse. So what do you think? Is our background done? I think I could color this background all day, but we're going to move on to the horse. Okay, so we're going to make our horse now, and I am going to take this down. I want you to put your background aside. And that second piece of paper that you have, we're going to do the same thing with it. We're going to fold it twice. So you're going to fold it over. You're going to meet up those corners. It does not have to be perfect. It just needs to have those creases right in the middle. And then you're going to fold it over again. Again, trying to match up those corners. And fold it. And open it up, and you'll see we've got those creases again. This is going to help me guide you through the horse. So we're going to be drawing this horse in 4 different sections. I have up here the painting itself, and sometimes artists will break something up into little pieces. So instead of drawing the whole horse all at once, we're going to start with one leg, then we're going to move to the other legs, and then we're going to move up to the top of the horse. So I have here some pictures of horses. I just wanted to show you real quick. And you can see how active they are. They're so beautiful. Have you ever ridden a horse? It feels like you're flying. It really does. So I also have these. Horses are very sweet and affectionate to each other. They live in families just like we do. So I wanted to know if you know that when horses are born, they can get up and run around and they're still a baby. We can't do that, huh? All right. So we're going to get started. You're going to use that piece of paper that you folded in 2. I'm going to put mine up here. Here we go. So I have here a piece of paper that I've cut out. And what it's going to do is it's going to show you the section that we're working on. At first it's going to feel really odd just drawing one lonely little leg. But you'll see when we get to the end, it's all going to come together. So I'm going to show you where we're going to start by putting this here. So we're just going to be drawing this one section where the plant is. So really all we're going to be doing first is drawing in that foot. It'll help a little bit to have a place for him to stand. So I'm just going to put this here. You don't have to do that. That's just for me to show you where we're going. So you're going to start with the blue that you want your horse to be. There are so many blues. Let's see, midnight blue, denim blue, Pacific blue. So I'm going to use just regular old blue. Now, the first step is we are going to find the very middle of our paper. Can everybody point with their finger at the very middle where those two lines crisscross where we folded the paper? You found it? Okay, that's about where the horse's chest is. So we're going to move over to the right just a little bit. Right there, we're going to start the leg. So you're going to put a dot right here and a dot right here. Like two little blue eyes looking at you. Kind of close together, but not too close. Then with your finger, trace it down. Go straight down to the bottom of the paper and then come up just a little bit. So we're not on the very bottom, but we're above it. And we're going to put another dot. That's where his hoof is going to be. So drawing the leg, you can see here, horses have muscles. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to draw a line that goes across like that. Join those two dots together. And then we're going to draw an oval. I want you to draw an oval. You see that? Can you do that? Not too big, not too small. Now you're going to draw a skinny little rectangle. Can you see that skinny little rectangle? It looks like a straw. So color that in. And then we're going to give him his foot. Now, what kind of feet do horses have? Do they have fingers and toes just like we do? No, they have hooves. And a hoof is just really one big fingernail. And they walk around on that, and it's kind of a rounded shape. So we're going to put kind of a smiley face curved line. Do you see that? It's like a little smiley face at the bottom. You're going to color that in. They also have like a little ankle, a little piece of their ankle that sticks out. Make some. Horses are so strong. All those muscles in that leg. Okay, so now you have your first leg. So we're going to switch to the other side. I know, that's so silly, just one leg there. But trust me, we're going to get to do the next legs. Now, do they have 2 legs? No, they have 4 legs. So, on the painting, you can see that Mr. Mark painted the 3 legs on this side. So, we're going to start where we were before. Right here. We're not in the middle, but we're just to the right where the top of that leg is, and we're going to draw a short diagonal line. That diagonal line kind of goes under the middle. You can even put a dot in the middle if it helps you know where it is. So you're going to go under the middle, just a little diagonal line. So now we're going to draw this leg. This is the other front leg. The horse's front leg is the same, where I want you to draw draw a dot here, and then I want you to connect it, and then I want you to draw that oval. You draw that oval? Okay, and then we're going to draw that skinny little rectangle leg. We're going to come down. Actually, let's trace your finger down to the bottom. Where is that foot going to go? Is it on the bottom? No. It's a little bit higher So you go up just a little bit. You can put a dot or a little smiley face line for the hoof. And then we're going to connect it with that rectangle. Skinny little rectangle. Doesn't that look so silly? So then color it in. And then give it a foot. So we put a little oval here. Now I want you to do another one. A little curved line. That's that other hoof. Like a smiley face line. Okay, so what's next is that we're going to draw where I think maybe his belly is. So what shape does that line look like? Can you see that? That shape almost looks like a triangle. It has a little point. So we're going to draw that from his leg. On the left side of his leg, we're going to draw like a little triangle. But we're not going to fill in the bottom of that triangle. It's just up and then down. You got it? Okay. So then the same thing with this leg. He has a kind of an oval. So we're going to do that. We're going to start right here where we stopped, and we're going to draw an oval. Got it? Now we're going to draw the rest of that skinny rectangle leg. So it's going to come down, but it's not going to be with this one. You can see this is this foot, and then this is this foot. So find the corner of your paper on the left and go up just a little bit. And then I want you to go in and put that little curved line like a smiley face. This leg looks shorter because it's in the back. It's a little bit farther away. So put in that rectangle. All right, color that in. We're going to give him that little ankle that he has there. So you can draw a line over where his ankle is. Do that here too. It's almost like he's got little blue jean pants on. Now, we've got that back leg. So what are we going to do next? So we're going to draw a little curved line just like this up to that middle crease that we made. We're not going to color in the body yet. So now I'm going to move my picture, move my covering for my picture so that you can see the next section that we're going to do. And this is the section where his face is. He looks so peaceful. He or she. All right. This is where we are. Okay, so this is the section that we're going to draw now. All right, so his back side is right here. It's a curved line. You see that? It's a curved line. You can practice that before you draw it. It's a curve. So we're going to start right here where we stopped. It's right on that middle crease. And how far are we going to go up? So with your finger, trace up about to halfway. You see that? So we're about halfway. You can keep your finger there so that you know where to go. And we're going to draw that curved line. After you're finished with that, You can draw in these lines here, show his muscles. He's so strong. I'm going to draw those in. Another one here. And you can see he's got this part right here, this line that's on his chest. And I think it kind of goes toward the diagonal line toward there. Okay, and now we're going to draw his head. So his head is all the way to the top of the painting. So that's where we're going to start with his head. I want you to find the top left corner, and I want you to trace your finger to the middle of that top section. So we're not on this middle crease line. We're halfway between. And this is where we're going to make a little dot. So right here, not at the top, but just below it. And we're going to draw this dark mane shape that's right here. So we're going to draw just one line. Again, it's kind of like a banana, kind of like that leaf shape. Just like that. If you accidentally draw in the wrong place or make it too small, so say you did this, that's okay. Just make it a little bit longer. Now he's got an ear right here, and what shape is that? It's kind of a triangle, so we're going to put a little triangle ear and maybe color it in just a little bit. All right, so the horse's forehead to his nose is so beautiful. It's that part of the horse that if you've ever been around a horse, you can kind of scratch it and rub it. It's very soft, and that's the part we're going to draw. And what shape do you think that is? If I cover up this part, this shape right here is kind of a diamond. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from his ear. I'm going to go up and then down. And I'm going to make kind of a diamond shape. But I'm not going to close it yet. And you can put an eye right here. See, his eye is below his ear. Ear, eye, ear, eye. And then I'm going to follow that nose down into kind of a rectangle with a curve at the end. So let's make that rectangle. And then we're on the side of the rectangle. We're going to put his nose. And just below this rectangle that we made, I want you to start on the left side, on the corner of that shape, and draw another curved line, like a smiley face. Okay, that's part of his nose. So we're going to finish this side of his head, and those cheeks that horses have are what give them that beautiful look. So we're going to draw that. It's a curved line. And if you look, it's not on this seam. You're going to trace your finger down towards his little face, and it's kind of around his eye. And then connect it with his mouth. So we're going to finish the mane. We just drew a line in for it there, but I want you to finish it by coming out away from his head. You're going to draw down, and then you're going to draw back. And you're going to stop right at his ear, and you can color that part in. And then on the other side of his ear, you're going to connect it there, and you're going to just color that part in. Okay, it's starting to look like a real horse. So the last section is this here on the side of him. So I'm going to switch this around so you can see that the hills are going to be behind him. but there's just this one little place. There we go. There. The tape's not as sticky as it was. Okay, so this curved line is this right here. Trace it with your finger first and try to imagine what shape that's going to be. Is it just going to be straight or is it going to be a nice curve? So I'm going to take this off now so you can see the whole thing. And this is where we are, right here. This curve goes up towards his ear. A nice curved line. So start right here on his leg and just go up and meet it right there. And then his mane sticks out a little bit. We didn't get to finish that, so now we're going to finish it. I want you to draw on the edge of the mane and then come out a little bit. You can even give him a little bit of extra hair there, like it's blowing in the wind. Okay, so now that you've got most of the body, you can fill it in. There's this V shape here. That's his muscles right there. He's so strong. So go ahead and color your horse in. You can press pause, and you're going to color your horse in. I recommend using several blues, a dark blue and a light blue. Shading is all about light and dark, where there's a shadow or where the light is shining. So you'd use a light blue here and a dark blue here and here. So go ahead and fill that in. He has white on the front of him, so I'm just going to color very lightly. But then I'm going to color in some darker places on his nose. You can use your black crayon for his eye and his nose to darken it a little bit. If your blue doesn't feel dark enough to you, you can darken it. And on the sides of his legs, he's got a shadow here and a shadow here. His feet are very dark. Now you can't see his tail in the painting. Maybe it's too far behind him, but if you want to put in a tail, you can. So go ahead and color him in. Okay, cut. Okay, so what does our horse need? Does he have, wait a minute, does he have all four of his legs? He's missing a leg. So we're going to put that last leg in. It's back here and it's behind this front leg, this one right here. So watch me do it and then you do it. So I'm going to use those dots to show that this is where I want to go. And it's almost a little bit of a diagonal right here. So I'm just going to put a dot there. Now, watch me and then you try. So I'm going to start here and I'm just going to come straight down with my rectangle and go back up. I'm going to give it that curve at the bottom and then I'm going to give him his foot. So go ahead and color that in. And then he's got that little bit of extra on his ankle. I like to, I'm going to darken it with the black because those feet are dark. All right, now he's got all 4 legs. I'm going to continue to color him in. So I'm going to go ahead and color him in, and I'm going to get ready for the next part. So I've been coloring in some of those shaded areas. Remember the light and the dark areas? Helps to make him look more realistic. There's a few more lines to add up here by his neck. There's some little lines on the outside of his cheek. 1, 2, 3. I used my black, but then I'm going to go back with my blue. And I'm going to color that in a little bit. And you can also color in some little shadows here. 2, 3, those little creases. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is cut it out. So go ahead and find your scissors. You can press pause. And go ahead and find your scissors and then press play, and we'll work together on this. So remember, the hardest part of cutting something out is holding this floppy piece of paper. It wants to get away from you. And so you have to remember that you can hold it upside down to cut it. You can hold it sideways to cut it. And most importantly, you keep your thumbs up. So like you have a hungry alligator, you're going to go all the way around your horse first. And I want you to, don't worry about his legs at first. I just want you to cut like this first. We'll worry about the between the leg part when you're done cutting the whole thing out. So I'm going to go slow and you take your time. If you're finished, just go ahead and wait for me. If you need some more time, go ahead and pause the video. So we have this little bit of a piece right here that might accidentally get cut off. If anything gets cut off, we're going to glue this onto our background so we can glue it all back together. So I have this upright, but what if I were to turn it upside down? I'm hiding behind it. I'm going to cut off that extra piece, and I'm going to go around his mane. Look at that horse, he's upside down. Now I'm going to turn him on his side, and you're going to cut just that little piece off. And remember, go around first. Cut off, the hardest part is this floppy piece of paper. You can cut off that extra piece so it's easier to hold. Look, I'm going to hold him by his face, and I'm going to cut just that little bit of his mane, and then I'm going to turn him back upside down again and cut down his side. So I'm going to keep going, but if you need more time to finish cutting him out all the way around the outside, go ahead and pause the video. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the legs out so you can see. Start with the one we first drew. Just make little cuts. Don't worry about cutting a long cut. You just want to very slowly cut. The hardest part is this floppy piece of paper. Now look, I've got him on his side so that I can cut this part. And I'm going to turn him upside down again and cut this part. I'm going to go around that hoof a little bit, and I'm going to cut that piece off so it is not in the way. So I turned him on his side again so I can cut around that hoof. And look, he's standing back up again. I'm going to cut this piece. Now what about that little tiny piece right here? I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to move on to the other two legs. So I can see through my paper, but if I hold it like this, you can see that it's easier to cut around that foot, up the leg, around that big muscle. And look, he's on his side again to cut that diagonal line. And I turned him to cut that diagonal line. And then just keep on going down that long skinny leg and cut that off. So this little piece right here is the hard part, and we're going to finish that by holding him up. And you're going to cut. And remember, if you accidentally cut off a leg, it's okay. So I already cut to this little piece right here. So I'm actually just going to go snip, and that comes off. And then I can finish it all the way. So there's my horse. So the next part is we're going to glue it to our background, the environment where our horse lives. And I want you to remember to use a little bit of glue. I tell my students to use glue dots, tiny little glue dots all the way around. Tiniest dot you can make. Or if you're using a glue stick, those things never really stick. So you kind of have to put a lot on for that. So really rub those glue sticks in. But for liquid glue like this, I want you to do tiny little dots all the way around. Tiny, 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 tiny. I'm going to put it up here so you can see. Little tiny dots. If you need to get a grown-up to help you, go ahead. You only need to go around the edge. So I have my background here. I'm going to put it back up. And there he is. So remember, his head is almost all the way at the top. You can see this foot is standing on the red. This foot is standing on that part back there. This part is here, and this part is here. All right. So if you look at your picture and you're like, let me see, what can I do to fix it? I see right here, I need to give something for his foot to stand on. So I'm going to give him a little bit of ground, the same color as over here. And remember, blend your colors. Have fun with those colors. All right, there's my blue horse. I hope y'all had fun. Remember, we will be doing a new lesson every day at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Some lessons will be in visual arts and some will be creative movement. So be sure to come back and make art with us tomorrow. If you are interested in supporting programs like this, you can donate to the Acadiana Center for the Arts, the nonprofit who manages the PACE program. If you want more information, go to our website, and there's lots of information on how to contact us. If you want private lessons online, you can contact me. My name is Christy Lush, L-U-S-H, at lushceramics.com. Thank you so much for joining us for this project. I had a lot of fun with you.